Hi guys, welcome to Infants and Preschoolers with Special Needs. I'm your instructor, Erin Panda. This video will give you an overview of what this course is going to be like and what it's about. I'm super excited to be teaching this course. One of the main themes I think is relevant to everyone. It will encourage you to better understand how biology and experience interact to shape a child's development. So by biology, we mean genes, brain development, and by experience, we'll be talking about the role of the family, early intervention, as well as some experiences that maybe happen even before we're born, and how all of these interact to shape our whole life trajectory. You'll come to appreciate the long-lasting impact that can happen when we support children with special needs and their families right from the beginning. And we'll be talking about how these experiences can shift a child's whole developmental trajectory. Throughout this course, you're going to be introduced to a variety of professionals that can work with children. So mental health professionals, speech and language pathologists, social workers, occupational therapists, physiotherapists, midwives. Maybe this will even introduce you to possible new career paths. Finally, I hope that this course will help you to consider the role that you may play, maybe now, maybe in the future, in advocating for children and families with special needs. Maybe you will even come to help shape the field of early special education and intervention. So what is this course going to be like? Well, every week you're going to be asked to read a chapter or two of the textbook and to watch these pre-recorded videos. For the most part, they'll be about an hour and a half or so in length, in total. Each of them hopefully will be much shorter. Then you'll come to class. Our class time, again, will be shorter, and this will be a chance for you to dive deeper into the content. So you'll have watched the videos in your own time. This gives you a chance to pause the videos, rewind, to take notes, to reflect on what it means for you. And then our class time will be a chance for us to dive deeper, to talk about what it really means and how it can apply to real-world settings. So this is in contrast to the traditional classroom style, where all of that learning, that more passive learning, would happen in the classroom, and the more active aspect would happen at home. So you'd sit in class and I would talk, and then you would go home and try to make sense of the information. Instead, with the flipped classroom, I think this provides a greater opportunity for the more active aspects of learning to happen in a chance when you're supported by me and your peers. Students in the past have told me that they really like this style of learning as well. They find that it allows for them to understand the information, it makes it stick for longer, and it also means that our class time is more engaging and fun. I hope that you enjoy this style as well. So what will this course be like? Well, like I said, you'll be reading a chapter or two of this textbook. I chose it for three main reasons. First of all, I like how the theme is geared around early intervention. I think this is a positive way for us to talk about children and families with special needs. Second, it talks about development as an integrated whole. This is another theme of this course. So rather than talking about cognitive development, language development, social emotional development, motor development as their own islands of development, instead we'll be talking about how development in one domain interacts and impacts development in another domain. This course and this textbook will instead, week to week, talk about the different forces that shape development. So again, those genes or early life experiences or the role of the family. Then the third reason why I chose this textbook is because there are comprehension check questions at the end of every chapter. I think this is a great way for you to stay on top of your learning, to be actively involved in it, and to check your understanding. So similarly, rather than having a big exam at the end of the course, we'll be having frequent quizzes. This is a chance, again, for you to stay on top of the information and to check your understanding, and for us to check your understanding as well. Most weeks, you'll also have a chance to apply the information in a short activity where you present it in a more creative way. So working in small groups, you'll be doing this in small groups. We're going to be using Critic for these activities. If you're not familiar with the platform, there are links in Sakai so that you can watch videos to learn more about it. Basically, the idea of Critic is that a lot of learning happens not only when you do the assignment, but also when you read other people's assignments, see how they presented the information, and evaluate each other's assignments using a rubric that we provide. Everybody's going to be held accountable because you have to give information to your evaluators about how their evaluations, first of all, made you feel and how it encouraged your learning. I think that this will help you develop important soft skills like critical thinking, communication skills that are for sure going to benefit you in future, wherever that future might take you. Finally, one of the big assignments for this course is for you to make a video like this where you present a case study. Again, working in small groups, you'll dive deeper into a particular special need that you find interesting, talk about what it would be like in the family, and to present an evidence-based intervention that can help support development. More information will be provided in class. Finally, I thought I'd take a few minutes just to tell you a little bit about me. And where I'm coming from and the approach I'll be taking in this course. So in addition to teaching courses on quantitative research methods and special needs, the other hat I wear at Brock is that I'm a researcher. My research falls into the category of educational neuroscience. I'm interested in how the brain changes as children learn, as they grow, and for kids with special needs, how it changes when they receive evidence-based intervention. I'm the co-director of CHIS's Neuroscience Research, Developmental Neuroscience Research Hub. So I've got a bunch of projects on the go. One of the big ones we're involved in right now is in collaboration with Pastone Mental Health, where we're studying how the brain works as children focus their attention, ignore distractors, and control impulses. We're interested in how this develops throughout childhood and adolescence and how it relates to children's mental health. We're particularly interested in ADHD and anxiety. The goal of this project is hopefully to one day provide information to clinicians and to kids themselves about how they think, and so that clinicians can choose the treatment that's best suited to that individual child. My other projects are also in the domain of reading and language. So I'm studying with collaborators at SickKids and Dartmouth College. We're studying the brain networks involved in word reading in children. And then also with collaborators in Hamilton Wentworth District School Board, we're studying and helping them show the effectiveness of evidence-based reading remediation for struggling readers. I thought I'd also tell you a little bit about my past and how I got to be where I am today. And I'm happy to chat about that outside in class as well. So I guess I started my whole career in research when I was in third year university, maybe similar to you. At that time, I was an exchange student in Germany. All of my classes were in German, even statistics. One day I was sitting on a bus and it occurred to me that I didn't have to think so hard to understand what the people around me were saying. And I wondered what changed in my brain to allow me to learn. So that's what got the whole ball rolling. I went on to do a PhD at McGill, where we worked with people who were learning a second language. And we were working with the hypothesis that said that the reason why it's hard for adults to learn a second language compared to kids is that the brain is just not able to change to accommodate new information. We did a whole bunch of studies to show that this just isn't the case, that instead with attention, attention to what is different between your first and second language, and intention or desire to learn, learning and neuroplasticity is possible throughout the lifespan. This model of learning really shapes how I understand learning for kids with special needs. So for some kids, some learning just doesn't come automatically. And I think by directing their attention, teaching them explicitly what they need to learn, providing them lots of opportunities to practice and in a way that's fun, that learning is possible for anyone. We're going to be talking, I'm sure, about this throughout this course. Finally, I went on to do a couple postdocs. One was with the Learning Disabilities research program at SickKids, where I worked on a project with kids with reading disabilities and ADHD. We looked at their reading improvement over time as a function of various interventions they received. And we found that it was the instruction that they received and not necessarily medication that improved reading outcomes for children. I then went on to do another postdoc, this time in the neurosciences and mental health department. We worked with kids with epilepsy, with very severe epilepsy, for whom medication just wasn't working to control their seizures. I worked with the surgical team, and we developed new protocols for mapping out where in the brain is language represented, where are those language networks, so that they could those surgeons could present this information to families. They could say, these are where the networks involved in language are, these are the networks involved in your child's seizures, so that the family could make informed decisions about which treatment was best for their child. In this course, we're going to be talking about ADHD as well as epilepsy, and one of the themes is empowering families so that they can make informed decisions. Outside of Brock, I spend all my family time with my family. My husband, Jeremy, he owns a printing and manufacturing company, and he's a musician. I've got 3 kids. Julian is 14 in grade 9, and he loves playing the guitar, playing the drums, Minecraft, math. He might one day become an engineer. Michaela is in grade 1. She loves drawing, loves unicorns and rainbows. And William down there is in JK, and he loves superheroes and monster trucks and Lego. I'm sure I'm going to be talking about them a lot throughout this course. They're all fairly typically developing, although special and needy in their own ways. There's my dogs, Charlie and Kenya. You might hear them barking in some of these videos. And we live in Port Dalhousie, so if you're ever down there and you run into me, please feel free to say hi. I'm originally from a small town in southern Georgian Bay. My family is from Poland and from other European countries. My husband's family is from India and the UK. I love meeting people who are from different countries and learning about how things work in different cultures. Throughout this course, we're going to be talking about children with special needs and intervention in a Canadian or North American context. But if any of this is maybe similar or different from how it works in your family and your culture, please feel free to share. I know that we will learn a lot from your perspective. Similarly, if you have any experience with any of the exceptionalities that we'll be talking about throughout the course, maybe yourself or with your family, people you know, or people you've worked with, please feel free to share. I know that we'll learn a lot from your experience. I hope that I create a safe environment where you feel comfortable sharing and talking about your experiences. So I'll go first. I'll say that me personally, I have a pretty significant hearing loss. This definitely shaped my development. If I ever ask you to repeat something in class, I probably will. Please don't take it personally. But although that's been one aspect of my development, it's definitely not all of who I am. It's just one part of it. I think there's a tendency when we talk about children with special needs to, especially if we don't know anybody with that particular experience, to group them into a category and to talk about that special needs as being everything that defines them. Instead, I think by learning from your own experience and sharing, we'll come to understand the individual and come to understand that everybody comes to the table with a whole smorgasbord of experiences, strengths and challenges, and it's all of those things that together make up who they are. So enough about me talking a lot. I hope that when we come to class, you'll feel comfortable sharing. I'd love to learn more about you. So please feel free to share some of these ideas as well in class. So in summary, this course will will hopefully teach you about some of the forces that shape our development and the importance of the early years in shifting a child's life trajectory. Maybe you will even be involved in some of this. And finally, I hope that you feel comfortable learning and sharing from one another. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next video and in class.